Hi, everybody. I am calling out this guy about the Israeli border wall and our border wall that we want to make with the southern border. The first thing I want you to do is Google Israeli border wall and take a look at it. Look how massive it is. Brett Stevens, how Israel secures its border. This guy writes for the New York Times. Wow, surprising. Okay, I need to get into some better lighting because I highlighted some stuff. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Israeli military history, but they have consistently, since the late 1948, when Israel declared independence, they fought Syria a number of times, Lebanese armies and stuff like that. This article mentions Hezbollah, which is an Iranian militia, and it's basically just a standing army at this point. It has sophisticated weapons and even drones that are supplied to it by Iran. They're based in Lebanon. So first, we're going to talk about that border. This guy is basically saying that Israel uses fences. Let's see. Since Donald Trump thinks border security is the issue of our time, of course it is, because Iranian Special Operations Forces, aka the Quds Force, and Iranian-backed Hezbollah, that's now in Venezuela, can mix in with these caravans and cross our borders, and I'm sure many already have. We've caught military-age Syrian migrants trying to cross from Texas in the United States, and then that was blacked out from the media. We caught 3 to 5, I forget if it was 3 or if it was 5, but it was a group of Syrian-age migrants that Trudeau had led into Canada, and they were trying to cross from Canada into New York, and then that was blocked out. So I bet, and there was one headline recently that talked about the thousands of migrants from the Middle East and Afghanistan and crap that were trying to get in here. So this guy is trying to compare our border and the cultural issues and the demographic issues and the political issues in terms of who votes for who. He's trying to equate that with Israel's military situation. Okay, to our south, we have what I just described to you. And it is military with Iran and with Hezbollah and, Sunni Arab who also look Mexican or Spanish, Ecuadorian, Nicaraguan, whatever. You have Al-Qaeda-esque elements coming up too. So, but this guy is trying to say that he went there, and the blue line, which separates Israel from Lebanon, and Lebanon's where Hezbollah is, which they fought a war with in 2006. It's called the blue line. He said that the blue line was ... a fence. A fence studded with sensors, to be sure, but by no means an imposing one. That is what a long stretch of the border between two sworn enemies looks like. There is a Hezbollah observation post, blah, blah, blah. It talks about Hezbollah, how they're right there. Let's see. Yet for the last 19 years, it was all the fencing Israelis thought was necessary to secure its side of the blue line. They recently found the Israelis 4 years ago found a tunnel system that Hezbollah had been building so that they could quickly infiltrate hundreds and hundreds of Hezbollah fighters into Israel proper during the next war that they're planning. They're getting a lot of battlefield experience in Syria right now, and they are an Iranian creation, and they do what Iran says, like a tentacle. Jerusalem is going to spend another $600 million to replace about 20 kilometers of the fence with a concrete wall. 20 kilometers is a lot. So he is conceding that they do use a wall. It's a concrete wall, mainly to provide greater peace of mind to the 162,000 Israelis who live near the Lebanese border. So he's saying it's more of a psychological, like a placebo effect. If we put a freaking concrete wall, they're just doing that to make the population feel better. It's not needed. You just put a fence up. Okay. They're called smart fences, packed with electronic sensors, but not a wall. Okay. He writes, how does Israel maintain border security? 2 ways. Close cooperation with the neighbors where it's possible, and the use of modern technology and effective deterrence where it's not. The deterrence he's talking about is bombing the crap out of Hamas. Okay, we don't have, what are we going to bomb Mexico? The second thing is, yeah, the Israeli military and the Egyptian military and the Jordanian military have very close ties, which is why they're able to have the troops that they have. We turn to Mexico and we demand that they take care of these caravans, and they don't. They don't do anything. And we've had issues in Mexico and the drug cartels for decades and decades because a lot of the officials in the Mexican government are in bed with the drug cartels. They've been bought off. So whereas Israel has a willing ally-type, friendly-esque neighbor, Egypt, it's really the military. It's the military-to-military cooperation, more so than the political-to-political. If we had that in Mexico, none of this would be a problem. So his argument there is completely null and void. He says, as for technology, he took a tour of an Israeli base on the Golan Heights. That's with Syria and Lebanon. 20 or so women soldiers, some of them still teenagers, sat at screens patiently watching every inch of Israel's border with Syria, looking for stuff. Oh, guess what? Last August, the unit spotted 7 Islamic State fighters wearing suicide belts and carrying grenades, and as they were infiltrating a no man's land on their way to Israel across the Golan Heights. And these women sitting on the screen saw it. Sorry for my shaky hands. Hopefully you don't get seasick. On the way to Israel, an airstrike was called in. The men never reached the border. Is this guy saying that we should have like a same kind of thing with Mexico where we just drone strike people coming up? These guys were armed men trying to infiltrate their border to cause chaos and warfare. We're not up against that. This guy's trying to equate two things that are entirely, they're separate issues. Israel's border wall, which again, Google it, because this guy's trying to say, oh, it's just a fence. They use a concrete wall here and there. No, Google it. Israeli border wall. And just to kind of drive home the point I'm making, they even have automated kill zones. If you get in some parts of the wall, if you get too close, a machine gun begins to fire at you. It's an automated, motion-censored machine gun. That's what the Israelis do. This guy doesn't bring any of that up. He just talks about smart sensors and then bombing people who approach the border. Okay, let's see if I got anything else. He does acknowledge the good news for the U.S. is that we don't face Hezbollah, Hamas, or ISIS across our borders. Only people who overwhelmingly want to relieve their own plight and contribute their labor for everyone's betterment. What kind of liberal bullshit is that? My goodness, I'm not even going to touch that issue. It's just a flame war waiting to happen. I look at the military aspect of it. If you are Iran, or if you're one of these extremist groups, and if you can mix in with these caravans of thousands of military-age refugees who are fleeing domestic violence, when you try to get in, we've caught a bunch of them. They just blacked out. Try to find it. But my main point is this guy's full of crap. He's saying that Israel uses fences and they work. What about all those demonstrations where their fences are getting stormed lately every weekend and they're having to shoot these Palestinians who are throwing rocks at them? And by the way, when the media says that the Palestinians are throwing rocks, it's actually slings. If you type in Palestinian sling into Google and look at the images, you'll see exactly what it is. It's just ancient warfare, like David and Goliath, the sling. It's a sling, they put a freaking rock in it, like a big ball bearing, and they get good at this crap because they start when they're young. They sling that crap and they aim and they shoot. It's the same as a bullet. And these guys, and they set tires on fire so that international aid workers intentionally get shot because the Israelis can't see what's happening. They just know they're getting shot at with freaking, sometimes live fire, but mostly just those rocks, which could easily kill them if they hit them in the head. But this guy's trying to say, oh, Israel doesn't defend, so we should be, number one, two different issues entirely. Israel's bombing people. That's how, they're being infiltrated by ISIS. We are too. They're just not carrying weapons. Those are waiting for them here from whatever kind of sleeper cells have been sneaking in ever since 2001. Because they're here, guys. Any war with Iran is going to erupt a whole bunch of stuff here domestically. All right. This guy's full of crap, by the way. His name is Brett Stevens. Brett Stevens, dude. I don't know if you're pushing an agenda or if you really believe this crap, but dude, you got to do some research, man. The first thing you should do is you go to https:// I think, www.google.com, and go to the search box and type in Israeli border wall and hit search, and then go to images and look at it. And the second thing to do is type in Israeli border wall automatic machine gun. And look at that. Read about it. Brett Stevens with the New York Times news service, a Times columnist. Come on, dude. I'm not even a freaking columnist and I know this crap, dude. All you gotta do is go to freaking Google Images. Google Images. My goodness. Good grief. And this, I'm not even gonna, I'm getting myself upset. I'm gonna have to just stop.